Well, tonight, the King 5 investigators exposed the captain who caused the crash of a ferry in West Seattle a year and a half ago. Had a history of on-the-job problems before that multi-million-dollar collision.
As King 5's Susanna Frame reports, ferry leaders formally reprimanded that captain for violations, including sleeping during sailings, falsifying records, and lying to his superiors. Yet he was allowed to keep his job anyway.
It's remarkable what, with those couple of minutes of that guy being irresponsible, did to my life.
Roberta Christensen of Vashon Island says commuting will never be the same after the crash of the ferry Cathlamet.
Having been through that crash, suddenly now you're on pins and needles, and I'm terrified. I'm like, what's out there? What's going on? What did we hit? Why are we going so slow?
In July of 2022, Roberta rushed out of her car to take this video seconds after the boat ran into what's called a dolphin at full speed. The dolphin's supposed to guide ferries into the Fauntleroy dock in West Seattle, but this time it ripped a massive hole into the front of the ferry.
I've never seen anything like it.
Roberta and her wife Tara saw the whole thing happen.
The opening in the ferry was like a giant movie screen. So I thought we were going to die.
State and NTSB investigations found nothing wrong with the boat. The crash was the captain's fault. It was a fluke from what they called sleep debt or sleep deprivation. They found Captain Dave Cole, a 37-year State Ferries employee, fell asleep at the wheel. But the King 5 investigators have found the crash may not have been such a fluke. After all, Captain Dave Cole had a history of documented work problems in the months and years leading up to the crash.
When I heard the name, it didn't surprise me.
Pete Williams is a former ferries manager. Before he retired in 2015, he says management was aware something was off.
It was obvious that something was going on with Captain Cole, and they missed the opportunity to really sit down and take a look at it and say, what do we need to do here?
The first documented sign of trouble came in 2018. The captain got an oral reprimand for being late to work. It forced the cancellation of a round trip. That's a big deal when hundreds of passengers are depending on you. 2 years later, he was late again. But this time records show he lied about it. Cole wrote in a logbook and told dispatchers he was on the boat sailing across Puget Sound when in fact he wasn't. A chief mate who wasn't qualified to sail alone without Coast Guard approval was at the helm.
They failed their job, and they put my life in danger, my wife's life in danger, and the lives of my friends.
An internal review found Cole violated 6 codes of conduct, including neglecting his duties, falsification of documents, and abandoning his work site. We found after all that, nothing happened. No reprimand, no suspension, no disciplinary measures whatsoever. What's your reaction to that, Roberta?
I'm pissed. I'm angry.
More red flags rolled in. The same year Captain Cole lied about being on a boat, he was late 2 more times. Manager Jay Mooney gave him a written reprimand.
That if you were sailing over the Washington State Ferries.
The next year, in 2021, he got a 3-day suspension for being late again. This time, nearly 3 hours late, forcing the cancellation of 3 trips. Rides passengers rely on for things like getting to school, medical appointments, and work.
I'm lucky I didn't lose my job that day, being stuck on the island for 3 boats. Can't make a meeting, can't keep the job.
Why wasn't more done sooner?
Former ferries manager Pete Williams says there's a lack of accountability culture in the ferry system.
That's one of the reasons that I decided to retire, was because I saw the culture changing where if you wanted to hold somebody accountable, really hold them accountable, it was very difficult.
Evidence shows just how scary the Cathlamet crash was. In this grainy security video, you see the deck crumbling from the collision. A passenger standing on the deck has to run to safety. And this photo shows wreckage from the crash punched right into a parked car. The NTSB found it just missed the occupant on the driver's side.
I'm very disappointed. We put people's lives at jeopardy.
Senator Curtis King is ranking member of the state's Joint Transportation Committee. Repairing the Cathlamet and the Dolphin cost the state nearly $7 million. The boat was out of service for more than 8 months, and it missed an estimated 10,000 sailings.
It was already a system that was in trouble, and this just exacerbated all of the challenges that we have. And then we got to look at the cost that, you know, the citizens of the state of Washington get to bear that cost.
The most ominous warning of all came in early 2022. Ferry managers received an anonymous note, and we have a copy of it. It reads, "I think someone should get some help for Captain Dave Cole. Some of us crew members don't feel safe." That prompted management to show up unannounced on the Cathlamet for what they called a welfare check on the captain. But they say they didn't find anything alarming.
Those cars.
Whoever wrote that anonymous note was right. 5 months later, the Cathlamet crash endangered everyone on the boat and the dock.
I think we got lucky. I think we got lucky that there wasn't more damage, that there wasn't more injury.
Ferry writers Roberta and Tara say, with lapses in accountability, the crash wasn't the fault of one captain, but the entire ferry system.
Dave Cole didn't crash a boat. Washington State Ferries crashed a boat. Dave Cole just happened to be the captain.
The day after the crash, Captain Cole resigned after 37 years with the ferry system. He didn't want to talk to us for this story, but his attorney says he feels awful about the crash and that he should be remembered not by that, but by his thousands of safe sailings for Washington State Ferries over the years. The ferry system says they have made changes, safety changes, to make sure a crash like that doesn't happen again, but they didn't want to answer any questions about what they did or didn't do about Captain Cole.
It still makes you wonder, would that have been the final straw? Would he still be sailing if he hadn't resigned?
We're actually waiting for more records that could divulge that even more happened. So we'll be back. If that happens, we'll be back with more.
Wow. Susanna, thank you.